All right, I want to do a shop update here. What's going on in the shop? I just got done greasing this thing right here. Checking it over. Everything seems to be all right on it. All the blades look pretty good on it. Just getting started in the second cutting hay. This is what I use to grease with most of the time when I'm in the shop. Excuse me. I do have this thing came from Northern Tool, and it works really good. You just put a whole barrel of grease on it and hook air to it. You got to run a regulator on it. Runs pretty low pressure, but I do have the lock and lube grease gun end on this thing. I do like the lock and lube on this thing. It works good on it. And also, when I'm here at the shop, there's a lot of fittings of the lock and lube you can't get them on. A lot of U-joints that you can't get them on. Some up in holes that the lock and lube's too big. But when I'm here at the shop, there's always a battery powered grease gun laying around here I can get those fittings. Out on my truck, I keep a DeWalt battery powered grease gun. I don't care for the lock and lube on it because it's the only grease gun I carry, and a lot of times I'll run into fittings I can't grease with the lock and lube, and I don't want to have to carry another grease gun on my truck. So but I do like it on that thing. That's my story on lock and lube. I do know they made an updated one that's longer, that's supposed to help you get onto the U-joints better. These U-joints right here you can grease with the lock and lube because they put the fittings on the end of the cap, and that's got to be the best idea I ever seen for greasing U-joints. I wish they all were on the end of the cap, so that would make it so much easier. But I did notice this right here on the belt, there's a little groove wore in it, and I found out that the shield down here at the bottom has gotten bent a little bit, and it's rubbing the back of the belt a little bit. So I'm going to take a bar and I'm going to work on that. I got grease all over me from somewhere. The fence mower, it's still in here. It's got a pin that needs some work on it. The pivot pin was wore out really bad. I figured that out. The guy that owns it, he brought another blade that's supposed to be more for grass. I think he said the blade that's on it is a brush blade, so that's why it wasn't cutting grass too well. And it's also bent. The blade that's on it's bent. We're going to work on that. And then this wheel right here, one side of this wheel is busted, so I was going to try to get that fixed. So that's the deal. That's what's going on with it. And over here I got my most favoriteest project. Not really, but this dang thing right here has kicked my butt. Not really, I'm kicking its butt now, but as you can see, there's no turbo in there. It is sitting over here, and this is a Ford F350 with a 6-liter in it. This thing, the vanes got stuck in it's what originally happened, and the guy that was driving it was trying to haul some rocks, and the vanes were stuck closed, and it wasn't allowing the exhaust to go through the turbo very well, and ended up blowing out the one of the up pipes, and the exhaust got so hot and the turbo got really hot, and it actually caught the firewall of the truck on fire, caught the insulation on fire, and he put it out with a sun drop. Should have had a fire extinguisher in there, but we didn't. But fortunately there wasn't any wires that got damaged, just the firewall insulation. But we brought the truck in. I knew there was something wrong with the turbo. I went ahead and pulled the turbo. I've cleaned the vanes on it before, back when we bulletproofed this truck. We actually did that ourselves too, me and my uncle. But I pulled the turbo apart again, and the unison ring was stuck solid in it, and I cleaned it up good and got it freed up really good. I turned the shaft inside here, it felt good. It didn't have any play in it when I had it out the first time. And put it back in, truck still wouldn't boost correctly. So I ended up buying Auto Ingenuity, and I got the Ford enhancement package for it. And if you don't know what that is, it's a scan tool basically you put on your Windows-based PC. And I realized that the turbo duty cycle was sticking at 85% most all the time, except at wide open throttle. When you get to 3,000 RPMs, you'd start getting boost. But under that, it would not boost at all. It felt like a sick dog. So I was kind of stumped for a while, but I checked, I run some tests and checked all the sensors through the computer, and everything seemed all right. It was pointing to the turbo again, and I thought, well, why, what is going on here? So I started pulling this turbo again, and this time when I moved the shaft, or got a hold of the shaft, I can move it up and down about a 1/16 of an inch, or maybe a little more. That's telling me the bearing is out of the turbo. Also, there was a lot of oil in the in this tube right here that goes to the intercooler. So the turbo is bad. The only thing I could figure is the first time I had it out, the truck had gotten shut off and not recranked. It got shut off when it was really hot. I really think that the oil that was in the bearing had cooked into the bearing and had tightened the bearing up to the point that there was no play in the shaft the first time I had it out. Because me and my dad both checked the play in the shaft by hand just like that, and there was absolutely none, and it felt like it turned smoothly. And the only thing we could find was that the unison ring was stuck solid. So we got a turbo coming, so I won't put it on. I'm 99%, well, I'm 99% sure that that's going to fix the problem with the truck. It just seems like it's something all the time with this truck. And but anyway, the truck itself is all right. It's just the engine. It's the engine. I've got 2001. You've probably seen it, the red one. It's got the 7.3 in it. It's got right at 200,000 miles on it. Never had to do anything to the engine. This truck right here with the 6.0's got 63,000 miles on it. That's probably one thing that hurts it don't get run much. But anyway, that's what's going on in the shop. Baled about 210 second cutting hay square bales yesterday. Got those in with no rain on them, so that was good. So that's what's going on. That was an update. All right, got the BR 7060 in here now, going over it. It hadn't been touched since it went and baled that straw, and that's probably been a month ago now since it baled straw. It had straw all over it, and I blew it all off. I'll show y'all how I clean my balers and hay equipment up after each use here before too long. I like this air greaser really well because it's just really simple to use. You got a hose. It's on a hose, of course. It's, I don't know, it's about 15 foot long. And you don't have to worry about batteries going dead. You don't have to worry about pumping. You hardly ever run out of grease because you got a, what is that, a 30-gallon drum, 33-gallon drum. You just put it on the grease fitting, squeeze, and it does the rest. I'm greasing the top bearings up there on the tailgate, and I'm watching up there for the grease to start coming out of them. And it did. That was the rear one. It puts out a lot of grease at one time. One thing you got to be careful about with it is like small ball joints and U-joints and stuff. You just barely want to squeeze this handle a little bit and then watch and listen for the grease so you don't blow the seals out of them, because it can easily blow the seals out of them. But New Holland puts these grease fittings right here in a bank for the 2 bearings that's up there on the gate. They also give you greasable bearings right here on the bottom of the gate, and then the floor roller here. And there's a very few, like this one doesn't have a grease fitting and this one doesn't, but this one does. And then the main drive rollers, they have grease fittings on them, and they're also in a bank right here, which is nice. So you only get that on the silage special like this one. It's a little bit heavier built and the greasable bearings on it. I don't do any silage, but I wanted the silage special just to make the machine last as long as possible, even doing dry hay. So anyway, I'm going to keep greasing this thing. I just wanted to show you what I use to grease with, and been well pleased with it. One thing I wanted to mention to y'all is y'all pay attention to the dates I put on my videos, because I'm like a weekly uploader. I should upload more often, but I don't because of the time it takes to edit the videos, and I try to spend time with my wife and kid in the evenings when I get home. So the only time I have is after they go to bed, and sometimes I'm just so tired I don't want to mess with it. But pay attention to the dates I put on my videos, because what I'm posting is typically a month or maybe even more than that behind. Like today is 8/2/2017, and this video probably won't get put up for a month. Maybe I get up earlier than that, maybe not, but I don't feel like y'all really care as long as y'all get to see what's going on and what I'm doing. But if you do care, well, I'm sorry, I can't help it. I'm doing the best I can. But I make a lot of videos, probably enough videos to, right now I'm probably making enough videos to upload one every other day or every 3 days, and I just haven't had the time to upload them all. So just bear with me and pay attention to the dates so you're not confused that this is what I'm doing at the current time. So you know, if the dates even matter to you, you may just be watching just for the entertainment. But if you are, then that's great too. All right, talk to y'all later.